At least 100 people are feared to be dead after tornadoes ripped through Kentucky over the weekend in what U.S. President Joe Biden called one of the largest tornado outbreaks in the nation's history. Leaving a 200-mile trail of destruction across the American South and Midwest, the powerful twisters leveled much of the town of Mayfield, home to some 10,000 people in southwestern Kentucky. Janet Kemp's house was obliterated by the storm.
In 2007, my house burned completely to the ground. We rebuilt. Then my husband died in 2009, and I had to file bankruptcy. I lost everything again. And now I've lost it all again.
Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says nearly 200 National Guard personnel have been deployed to assist with the recovery, while Biden has directed federal resources to be delivered to hardest-hit areas immediately.
Earlier today, I called the governors of the states that have been experiencing severe impacts of the storms, including Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Missouri, as well as Tennessee.
A nursing home in Arkansas was destroyed, while a roof collapsed at an Amazon warehouse near St. Louis, Missouri, killing at least 6. Weather forecasters say unusually high temperatures and humidity created prime conditions for the deadly tornadoes, which are otherwise unusual in cooler months.
The reason I asked you to come down was there was I was told that while you were being escorted to the car the other day, that you began to tell a joke about the shooting of Jacob Blake, and I wanted to see if is that accurate or not. It is? Okay. Are you comfortable repeating what the joke was, or do you want to just leave it alone? I'm going to tell you that I spoke about. Well, I guess I'll hear from Mr. Did you want to finish what you were saying? I will tell you that I've talked quite a bit about public confidence in the outcome of the trial, and regardless of whether the issue is as grave as you presented it in terms of inner feelings, it is clear that the appearance of bias is present, and it would seriously undermine the outcome of the case. So that in itself would be sufficient cause for discharge, but if you want to expand on that, you're welcome to.
No, Your Honor.
Did you want to say anything, defense?
If number 7's unwilling to repeat it, what it was, I think we're at a disadvantage, and I suppose his unwillingness can be taken in the worst light. Based on the unwillingness at this point, I think it's probably the proper course.
Okay. All right. I think the best thing under the circumstances, I'm going to dismiss you from the jury, sir. And we do thank you for taking the time to come down here. Thank you.
My feelings is that it was nothing to do with the case. It wasn't anything to do with Kyle and his 7 charges.
No. Here, and I have not. I've not stated that you have. It's not. One of the things that I have to do when I have to make judgments, I try to confine my judgments to the things I have to judge, and not to forming opinions about other people other than that. So I don't want to get into that. The point I'm making is that the public needs to be confident that this is a fair trial, and I think even at the very most, it was bad judgment to tell a joke of that nature. Okay, so that's okay. Thank you very much, sir.
A swarm of tornadoes ripped through Kentucky and 5 other U.S. states in the Midwest and South, killing dozens of people. Officials said Saturday the path of destruction stretched more than 200 miles. Thunderstorms overnight produced an outbreak of tornadoes as the storm moved from Arkansas and Missouri into Tennessee and Kentucky, a state that was slammed by at least 4 tornadoes. The heavy winds derailed a freight train in western Kentucky. Governor Andy Beshear.
This has been the most devastating tornado event in our state's history. And for those that have seen it, what it's done here in Graves County and elsewhere, it is indescribable.
The small western city of Mayfield was among the hardest hit, with cars toppled and buildings leveled. A tornado ripped through a candle factory with over 100 people inside. The roof collapsed, causing mass casualties. A resident directed traffic.
We have a major catastrophe at the candle factory, at the jail, the courthouse, and the #1 fire station. I wouldn't try to go anywhere in this cold.
In Manette, Arkansas, near the Missouri border, a tornado ripped off part of the roof of a nursing home with 90 beds. A roof also partially collapsed at an Amazon warehouse near St. Louis, Missouri. Rescuers searched for people trapped in the rubble. Just west of Nashville, Tennessee, in the town of Kingston Springs, toppled trees and power lines littered parts of the highway. The National Weather Service said it had received several dozen reports of tornadoes touching down in 6 states.
A U.S. appeals court on Friday upheld its decision to put on hold President Joe Biden's vaccine mandate for companies with over 100 workers. A 3-member panel of the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans affirmed its ruling despite the Biden administration's position that halting implementation of the COVID-19 vaccine mandate could lead to dozens or even hundreds of deaths. Circuit Court Judge Kurt Engelhardt wrote that, quote, the mandate is staggeringly overbroad, calling it, quote, a one-size-fits-all sledgehammer that makes hardly any attempt to account for differences in workplaces and workers. Vaccine mandates are deeply controversial in the United States. Supporters say they are a must to put an end to the nearly 2-year coronavirus pandemic, while opponents argue they violate the U.S. Constitution and curb individual liberty. The Fifth Circuit judges appear to agree with the opponents. The rule was issued by the Occupational Safety and Health Administration, or OSHA, and mandates that businesses with at least 100 employees require staff to get vaccinated or face weekly tests and mask requirements. White House officials had no immediate comment on the ruling. Biden announced the requirement in September, telling Americans that, quote, our patience is wearing thin, with those refusing to get inoculated. The mandate was set to go into effect in January.